everyone, and welcome back to our channel, or welcome to our channel if you're new here. In today's video, we'll be showing you how to make this delicious corn soup. Now, corn soup is something that will generally change in terms of ingredients and how you cook it depending on where you're from or which recipes you work with it, but in this video, we'll be showing you how we make it. So we like to have dumplings in it, we like to have a lot of split peas, a lot of spices, and it's just super delicious and really easy to make generally. It's really great for how the weather is starting to change and transition into fall. So if you'd like to see how to make this, then please keep on watching. Also, don't forget to subscribe before we get started. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so first off we're going to start with our ingredients. Now you're first going to need 1 cup of green split peas. You're also going to need 1 cup of yellow split peas. Now of course this is optional, but we find it gives it a really nice texture. You'll also need 1 cup of carrots chopped up finely. You can use baby carrots if you'd like as well, but they might get melted in the soup. We also took 3 small corns and cut them into slices here, just so that it has a larger quantity in the soup. And here we have some chopped cilantro, coriander, and celery leaves. Now you can add as much or as little as this to your discretion. You also are going to need 10 cloves of garlic and half a cup of green seasoning. Now basically the green seasoning has onions, garlic, pepper, cilantro, and etc., just like what we have there, so that's optional as well. You don't really need it if you don't have it on hand. We also need 1 chopped onion. You're also going to need 1 can of cream corn. Now you can also skip this step if you'd like and double up on the fresh corn if you'd like, but we found that this gave it a nice creamy texture as well. You're also going to need 1 can of coconut milk. And again, potatoes are optional, but we like to have them in there, especially because they melt up really nicely in the soup. You need 2 potatoes diced finely, as well as 1 sweet potato diced. You're then going to take 1 cob of corn kernels. Now again, you can use the canned one if you'd like, but we took that from a fresh cob. We're also using a 1/4 cup of green onions here. And then you're going to need, which of course is optional, 3 hot peppers, 2 Maggie flavor cubes, 1 tablespoon of saffron, and 2 tablespoons of salt. Now the Maggie cubes of course again are optional. If you'd like to substitute that with a different flavoring, then you can do so. So we're going to start off with the 2 tablespoons of butter and golden ray butter. Now I know this wasn't mentioned earlier, but what we're doing with this is to caramelize the onions and garlic. So you want to get this melted nicely into a non-stick pan. And then you're going to take 1 onion and put that in, the chopped onion from earlier. And then you're going to take the 10 cloves of garlic and you're also going to add that in. And then you're just going to let this caramelize on its own on medium to low heat. Alright, so while that is caramelizing, you're going to have a pot ready with boiling water. And you're going to add 1 tablespoon of saffron, the 3 peppers, and the 2 tablespoons of salt. We're not going to add in the Maggie cube just as yet, just these ingredients so we can bring this to a boil. And then you're just going to mix that together. Now you can see the saffron along with the flavor is also going to bring that nice yellow color for your corn soup. We're then adding in 1 cup of the yellow split peas, then the 1 cup of green split peas. Now by the time all this is done, your melted butter and onion should be good to go. So you're just going to take that out of its pan and put it straight into your soup. And this is going to give a lot of nice buttery flavor as well to the soup. We're then going to start adding in the potatoes. Now basically with the corn soup you could see we're just adding in things gradually. We're adding in our sweet potatoes as well. Now you may notice the sweet potatoes will eventually melt completely, but it'll bring a nice flavor as well. We're adding in our carrots. And you're going to continuously stir as you add in ingredients. We're then adding in some of the celery leaves, and as well as the coriander and cilantro. And we're going to leave some cilantro for later on to garnish. You're then going to take your green onions and add those as well. And then we're going to take our homemade green seasoning and start adding that as well. And then we're just mixing that together and covering our pot and letting that boil on its own. Okay, so after it starts, you'll start hearing it start to boil. You're going to take off your lid, and then you're going to add your corn kernels. And we're adding this now because it is going to cook fairly quickly, but it's going to release nice flavors into it as well. And basically a soup is all about flavor building, so that's why we're adding a lot of ingredients to really build that up. So then after 20 minutes or so of boiling, you're going to add those corn pieces, because you don't want to add them too early, otherwise they are going to overcook in your soup. So you want them to add them a lot later when you're starting to get ready to move forward with the dumplings. Okay, so you can see here that our corn is all added in there, and you can see it also has a really nice color developing because of that saffron and the butter as well. So we're going to take our 1 can of cream corn and add that in. Now, we're just adding this to add some more of that sweet corn flavor. We did get that with the original corn, but it's not as much as you would need, especially for this amount of soup. So then right here we also added our can of coconut milk. And then you're just going to give that a good stir and make sure everything is blended seamlessly in there. And then you're going to let that boil. Okay, so now we are going to start adding in those 2 Maggie cubes. Now you can crush these up or just throw them straight in. They'll melt either way. And then from there, you're gonna want to make sure you give it a good stir with that. You don't want the clumps to start settling at the bottom. And now, because a lot of time has passed, you're gonna want to find some pieces of the potatoes especially to check if they are boiled or half boiled at least. You see here ours is relatively boiled, not all the way through. And that's perfect because we haven't begun putting in the dumplings yet, so it's good that those things are only half boiled and not completely boiled, otherwise they're going to overcook by the time we're ready for the dumplings. So then you're just going to let this boil for now, and we're going to go into preparing the dumplings. Alright, so now we're going to start off with our dumplings. So you're going to need 2 cups of flour. You're then going to take 4 tablespoons of ground daal or ground split peas. Now you could find this at your local grocery store, and most of the time you'll find it as well at a West Indian grocery store. And this is also optional, but we find it gives it a really nice texture. You're then going to take a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're adding a spoonful of green seasoning. You can sub this out for any other seasonings you'd like, or you can skip this step as well. We just like to have our dumplings really well seasoned. You're then going to take 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and then 1/2 teaspoon of sugar to balance everything out. Now then you're going to knead this dough with some warm water, and you're going to add that gradually until you start making a somewhat stiff and sticky dough. So this is what it looks like approximately halfway through, and you can see we're just adding that water gradually still. You don't want this to be smooth because we're making kind of tougher dumplings, ones that can hold up a lot of that flavor. So once you have it as your bowl completely cleaned and it looks somewhat like this, you're going to let this sit for roughly an hour before putting them into your soup. Speaking of soup, we're going to move on now. Now you'll see your soup is very much boiling, so you're going to want to start putting in those dumplings. We're making them in kind of a rolled out like a elongated shape and dropping them in. You can change up the shapes however you'd like. You just don't want it to be too thick. otherwise it won't cook in the soup. So you're gonna want to make it as thin as possible. We just find that making just elongated shapes works out pretty well, and just keep in mind also that these do rise quite a bit, as you can see here. And we are taking a little more of our green seasoning, mainly because the dumplings will start to soak up a lot of the flavor of the soup. So we want to make sure that there's still that nice kick of flavor in there. So we're adding in some additional cilantro and celery leaves and etc. You can skip this if you like, or you can add anything else in there. We're just adding this more for garnish purposes. And you'll see here when we're stirring it up that your soup is nice and liquidous. It hasn't gotten thick whatsoever. And that is the soup. So basically with the dumplings, you want them all to rise as they did in our previous clip there. And that's just how you know that they are cooked and that your soup itself is complete. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a really simple soup to make, and trust me, it's super delicious. Very good for this kind of cooler weather that we're starting to get. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to comment down below what you thought of this video and other videos on our channel. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos when we upload. I really hope you guys like these more cooking videos so far. I know our channel hasn't really been, you know, with the looks or DIYs lately, but with fall coming up, we will have a lot more content for you. So, without further ado, have a fantastic week, and thanks for watching. Bye.